Are you tired of chasing down late payments and wish you could just get your invoices on autopilot? I got you! Today in this video, we're going to be talking all things autopay when it comes to Dubsado, both in payment plans and in recurring invoices. Truly, setting up and using Dubsado's autopay feature really can save you so much time and a headache, and it's so nice to be paid on autopilot. Like, it's just so nice to know that those payments are coming in, but you do have to do some things to set it up, and there's some things to be aware of with it and how you set up your invoices and recurring payments. If you're new here, I am Lauren with The Smarter Creative, and I help creative small business owners work smarter in their business instead of harder. I am a certified Dubsado specialist, and it is my favorite thing to do is to help people inside of their Dubsado get it set up and streamlined so the behind the scenes of the business runs flawlessly, so you can just focus on the front of your business where you do the magic that you do. So one of the biggest reasons to set up autopay in your Dubsado is really just for less admin work and following up with people. You just know that it's getting paid. Even though with your payment plans, you can send out automatic reminders in Dubsado to make sure that payment reminders are going out. But if you get paid at the beginning, you know they're gonna pay you, then it's just so much easier for you to have it already set up to consistently know what's coming in, and your clients appreciate it too because it's one less thing that they have to think about in going into the invoice and paying it every time a payment is due. So let's start off with talking about payment plans on a single invoice that utilize autopay. So this is really best for services that have a large invoice that needs to be paid over a certain number of installments, and it's based on a project date, and at the beginning of signing you want to show the invoice for the full amount and then have the payments broken out based on that full amount based on specific dates. So when your payment plan is set up, the biggest thing to know is you cannot have autopay set up if any of the dates read TBD. It will not work at all. If you have flexible dates in working together with your client and those dates aren't known at the beginning before they've booked, then you really can't use autopay. You have to know exactly when these payments are going to be due. You can either specifically say these payments are due on December the 5th, January the 12th, and February the 15th. Like, you can literally write in those dates. Or what a lot of wedding professionals do is you have your project date set for like the wedding date, and then the payment plan is based off of that date. So maybe it is 25% is due a month before the wedding, 25% is due 60 days before the wedding, and you can go back there. But because you already have a project date, then those dates of number of days before the project date, there's an actual date associated with that your client can sign off and say, yeah, this is amazing. That payment schedule is great. Let's set up autopay. Now, if there's any fluctuation to your invoice, let's say there are add-ons that they could pick closer to the wedding date, if there are just any incidentals that come up that need to be paid ahead of time, autopay will be canceled as soon as you edit that invoice, because basically what your autopay is, your client is agreeing to that payment term on those dates, and that's when autopay is set up. So if you change any of the dollar amounts, even if it goes down in price, not just if it goes up, autopay is going to be canceled because your client now has to re-agree to autopay for the additional payments. And that also is the case if you change any payment due dates, because you basically broke what they agreed to on that initial payment moving forward, and they need to get it set up again. You can't do that on their behalf because you don't actually have their payment information. The payment processor holds that. You never see it. So why don't we go ahead and jump into Dubsado, and I will show you how to set up your payment plan and the settings to set up for your project to have autopay ready to go for you. So we want to start by creating a payment plan, right? So this is going to be for a let's say a wedding. Let's go ahead and use this 34, 33, 33, whatever. And actually we can do 3 equal payments. Let's just do that. 3 equal payments. And I'm gonna override my autopay settings in the project itself. You are able to override it here if you know you have a payment plan that's going to be on autopay. So autopay, this setting is being brought over from your company settings on autopay. So we can look at them here. We're gonna go payments and invoices, and then the default autopay setting. I always have it set to optional just to give you the flexibility, but you can set it up for mandatory or however works best for you. So this one, I'm gonna edit it here. So the first one, I'm gonna, instead of 0 days after payment plan applied to invoice, I'm gonna say after contract has been signed. I'm gonna divide it equally. And then I do want a couple canned email reminders. So I've got some contract signs, invoice not paid emails, and I'm gonna do it 1 day, the first one to be sent 1 day after the due date. Basically, it goes out the day after the invoice should have been paid and says, notice you haven't made payment, but we have your contract and your proposal. Here's the link again. Let me know if you're having any issues with the payment processor. I do have those here, and let's say they're called contract signed, invoice not paid. I've got 1, 2, 3, and they're just following up with them. So whatever your cadence, whatever you want it to be, I'm gonna say maybe 1 day after. Let's go 2 days after that. We'll send the second one. Invoice not paid 2. And then let's go ahead and do 7 days. We'll do a full week after the due date. Invoice not paid 3. So this Notion page with all these emails, it is linked down below, and you can just literally steal my emails. It at least gives you a starting off point. And then we want, so this is perfect here. I know my next email is not in here yet. So this payment is due soon with autopay set up. So I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna come back over to canned emails. I'm gonna do a new canned response, paste in this information here, and you can just literally grab that little copy to clipboard. I like to do Command or Control A to select everything that's already in here, and then instead of doing Command or Control V to paste it, hold the Shift key down when you do it, and it will keep any formatting that is from Notion and move it over. And then this needs to be attached to a payment plan, but it says your scheduled payment of X dollars is due on this date. You are set on autopay, so there's no need to take action. Your payment will automatically be made, but below is your invoice for reference with the invoice link. So save and close there. I'm gonna come back over to payment plans here, and then let's pretend this is going to be, we do want it relative, so let's do 1 month before the project start date, and I will change this to divide equally. Perfect. And then instead of a payment reminder like due today, I'm going to send a reminder, let's say 3 days before the due date, and pull in that payment is due soon with autopay set up, so they get notified like payment's going to be taken soon. And we will do the same thing here. Let's do this 1 week, so we'll do 7 days before the project start date, divide equally, and you can always click on this too. We'll do 3 days before with that canned email we just dropped in. Great. And this automatically saves, so you can click out and come back in, and it's going to be there with all of our canned emails set up. And when you use payment plans, I like to automatically have them applied to a project, typically from a workflow. That way you can have items in your workflow that watches for the invoice installment paid of like payment due at contract signing, and you can actually have triggers based on that. It's a really nice feature to make sure you're onboarding your clients at the right time once they've actually signed their contract and made their payment. If you do put your payment plan on a workflow, which can be done at the top of your workflows, you want to make sure you do not have it in your form settings, one or the other, because they will cancel each other out. You just want to make sure it's one or the other. Let's go ahead and do test payment plan. We're going to go ahead and grab a sample client, put them in as a lead, create the project. So this one, I'm going to just manually create an invoice and add the payment plan onto it so we can see it. Add the invoice, select the auto pay payment plan here, and now we can see all those payments that will come due. Let's just throw a package on there. Auto pay, payment plan, auto pay. I want to override it and say required. Lovely, perfect. So save that. So auto pay is required on the payment plan. So in your payment options here, you want to make sure that PayPal and ACH are not selected if you use Square or the legacy mode of Stripe. If you're using the new Dubsado payments, you can keep ACH payments on, but the legacy Stripe, Square, and PayPal won't work with ACH, and PayPal also won't work with AutoPay. So just make sure you follow the rules for what needs to be on for AutoPay. Let's go ahead and open this like we're the client and sign off on it so that contract signing date is applicable. And then we need to give this a project date. So now when we open up the invoice, open it in a new window. I always like to test things out to make sure it is right. When we scroll down, we'll say auto pay enrollment is required. I agree that this is how it is and it can be canceled at any time, but it will force them to agree to auto pay at the start of it, which is really nice to have that payment plan have auto pay on it. So the second way that you can set up auto pay is through recurring invoices. Recurring invoices are a pretty cool feature in Dubsado that may or may not serve you in your business. Basically, it is if you know you're going to take a certain number of dollars on a specific cadence. So maybe it's every month you have a client who you are billing $500 for a specific task, and you want to set up a recurring invoice for them, and in that recurring invoice have autopay turned on. Now, again, we've got some good things and bad things with recurring invoices. It's only applicable if truly they are setting up some kind of subscription or maintenance plan with you. This is not applicable if for the normal payment plan you would have on an invoice. So if you're a photographer who has a payment due for a session and you broke it down into installments, that is not what the recurring payment is for. The recurring payment is if you're a agency and you are looking to collect the same dollar amount from your clients every single month. These recurring invoices must be set up manually. There's no way to automatically apply a recurring invoice onto a project, but once it's set up, it is set up. It is lovely. Now, a recurring invoice is not going to be for you if you do bill your clients monthly, but it's not a consistent dollar amount, because those recurring invoices must be sent on the same date and for the same price. Like the line items are the exact same every time. And it's similar to a payment plan on AutoPay. Your client is agreeing to the specific cadence at that specific amount when they sign up for AutoPay at the beginning of the recurring invoicing. So if you need to be flexible and change things, maybe you're a VA and you bill hourly and you really do at the end of your hours send out an invoice that wraps up the hours worked, then a recurring invoice is not going to be for you because it's not the same every month. But if you're on retainer and you bill a certain number of hours each month, then that would work. So I hope that makes sense. If you can get to a recurring invoice, I'd highly encourage you to try to do it. It's just one less thing for you to have to remember to do every month, is billing your clients for like specific dollar amounts. But if that's not where you're at yet, that's okay. You're just not able to set up autopay for your clients because there is nothing automated about your billing process. But if you are looking to automate your billing process and get autopay set up for the same dollar amount every time you invoice, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, every 3 months, like every quarter, annually, whatever it is, that we can get autopay set up on. So let's go behind the scenes into Dubsado and show you exactly how to set it up. Let's set up your recurring payment. Make sure that has autopay set up. So under Invoices, we're going to come over to the Recurring Invoices tab. We're going to add recurring invoice. Here we're going to override to require autopay. Yes, please. And then this is where you can change your cadence, if it's quarterly, every 3 months, every month, every week, whatever it is, starts on. And this is going to be the date of your payment. When that invoice is created, the first one is going to go out, and I like to have the due date set just a couple days in front. So let's say payment is due on the 15th. We're going to send it, say, on the 12th. Okay, and then the payment plan, we're going to do let's do a new payment plan. Edit this out. Delete. Relative, we're gonna go 3 days. After payment plan's been applied to the invoice, we're gonna divide equally. And lovely, so we will save it. Make sure we put a package on there. And I am going to put some payment reminders on there, because the very first recurring invoice, the autopay is not set up. You have to capture their payment information for autopay to be set up. So the first invoice that you send needs to have autopay set up on it. So we are going to have, let's say, payment reminders due today. And we could even do a 1 day after. Let's do 3 days and do a past due payment reminder, just so it's there for us. So let's save that. And if we start the recurrence, autopay will be required, and it does not. The next one's gonna get created on the date. It's the same time at whatever time you actually put the recurring invoice in. So if you like your recurring invoice to be sent out in the morning, make sure you create your recurring invoice in the morning. You can also have an end date on here. Unfortunately, once you set this up, there is no editing it. So you have to cancel it, and that's regardless of autopay. Just how these recurring invoices work. So if you had an end date, you could have an end date on there if it was a agreement for 6 months or something. And so what happens is Dubsado is going to send this invoice with a specific email, and that email is under canned emails, send invoice here. So in my list of emails down here, I've got a friendlier way of saying this. So let's say I kept that. Let's go here. So making sure it's their first name, have a look at the below invoice. If you're set on autopay, it's a reminder that your payment will be made automatically, or feel free to set up autopay at this time. And then it has the invoice link. Every time an invoice gets sent through a recurring invoice through your brand across the board, this is the email that goes out. So you want to make sure it's super generic. If you have different clients doing different kinds of services. It just needs to be very generic. They even close that, but that's what's going to send out the recurring invoice. In your project with your recurring invoice, you do want to just triple confirm that in your invoice options here, that your payment options are set up properly. Again, you want to make sure if you are a Square user or a legacy Stripe user and you aren't on Dubsado payments using Stripe, that you have your ACH turned off and PayPal turned off under payment options here. If you use the new Dubsado payments, you can have ACH on recurring invoices as well as credit cards. Everybody uses credit cards except for PayPal. PayPal you can't use with autopay. So if you want autopay, you just gotta make sure you're following what this little warning sign has under invoice options. And this is nice because it is project-based. So you can have autopay set up for a specific client, but then have it optional for another client if they like the flexibility of not being set up on autopay. There's a lot of companies out there, clients out there who like to choose to pay when they want to, or maybe they have to go through a accounts payable process, something like that. And then those people probably would not want to be set on autopay because they do want to approve every time they're invoiced before they pay that bill. So again, in the description down below, I've got a download for you where you can grab all of the emails that I talked about throughout this video for you to plug in yourself so you don't have to write them from scratch and they can just be ready for you, including making sure to go into your canned emails where you have the Dubsado required drop down and you want to update your canned emails for autopay failed, autopay canceled, and anything autopay specific to be in your brand voice and written just the way you would send it to a client. Those are sometimes those Dubsado required emails can get missed because they're buried away and you don't even see them. The client tells you payment information needs to be updated, you're going to want to stop autopay, and the next time a billing is due, your client's gonna have to reset it up for moving forward. But you just need to resend the invoice to the client and say, hey, no problems on needing to update your information. I canceled your autopay. Go ahead and restart it using this link. And that email again is in the free downloads of all the emails that you need when it comes to autopay inside of Dubsado. And if a payment fails, then autopay will automatically stop and you should get a notification. There's notifications in Dubsado to be notified if autopay fails. In your account settings, you can make sure that is triggered. I personally would want to know if the autopay did not go through and I was expecting it to go through. Let's recap. To set up autopay means you have consistent income coming in. You're not following up with clients on late payments, delayed payments. They are paying you on time every time. And it helps your client because they don't have to think about it. They don't have to go into the invoice every time a payment's due. It's set up on autopay to what you guys have agreed on from the beginning. It is all there for both of you for mental ease and not having to worry about it. So again, our key takeaways from this is if you choose to have a payment plan applied to one invoice, that dollar amount needs to be basically fixed at the beginning and all your due dates need to be plugged in. And then if you are on a recurring invoice, again, that payment needs to be fixed at whatever your billing cadence is. There cannot be any flexible payment due for your project. It needs to be a fixed payment in order to set up autopay. By mastering all the ways that Dubsado can do autopay, you're going to transform your business finances, improve your client experience, streamline your workflows and how your business operates, and ultimately delight your clients because you made it so easy for them to work with you. So I really encourage you to go ahead, play around, discover the different ways that autopay can work for you and your business. If you have any questions about it, drop it down below. And if you've gotten to this point and you just really don't want to figure this out by yourself, you need some hand-holding, I would love to help you inside of your Dubsado. I actually have a link to schedule a free discovery call down below to see if we're a good fit in working together in your Dubsado. I love to help people get organized and up and running for Dubsado to serve them inside of their business. And if that is you, then schedule that free call down below. You can always shoot me an email as well at lauren@thesmartercreative.com, or join me over on Instagram at thesmartercreative. And if you're still here and this video helped you, please give it a like, a thumbs up to help this video find even more people. And I think that's it. So I will see you guys next week.